Pupil is placed a color contour flat at the temperature interval after a given time interval. So as you can see here in our screen, we have, ito yung hottest part. Yan. So, same doon sa kanina. So, kaya magkaroon ng output ng ganito ang MATLAB. So, we have X direction and also in Y direction. So, ito yung kanyang temperature profile from 0 going to 90. So, So, meron ba dito may account sa MATLAB? I mean, may account sa MATLAB. So, parang na-renew na yung license natin. So, you can use MATLAB using your GSOT account. So, and then you can use the finite difference method in solving for conduction heat transfer problems. So, yan. Ito yung magiging output natin sa with regards to temperature profile. So, another way is through ANSYS. So, usually, we are using ANSYS for the transient conduction using ANSYS mechanical. So as we all know, time plays an important role on heat transfer. So any heat transfer phenomenon takes some time to reach a steady state. Na-mention ko previously na sa una, hindi siya, in reality, sa una hindi siya talaga steady state. So, fluctuating pa siya yung heat transfer. And then, as time goes by, nagiging steady state na lang siya. So, it's just a matter of time. So, any heat transfer phenomenon takes some time to reach a steady state. So, during this heat transfer process, temperature of the body is either increasing or decreasing with time. So, in other words, the temperature is time dependent. So, for example, the temperature of the metal rod heated at 1 m slowly increases with time due to conduction, and its effect is felt on other end rod as well. So, ito yung kagaya nito example natin dito sa screen. So, a study of such transient conduction problems not only help us understand the overall conduction time scales, or the time required to achieve a steady state temperature, but also provides insights into the total energy stored by the body. So any change in the imposed thermal conditions of the body, such as the addition of heat source or sink, or change in the boundary condition, will cause the system to undergo a transient approach by establishing a different state solution. And so you can use ANSYS mechanical, so it's also available online. So yan, in-introduce ko lang yung mga softwares na pwede natin, some of the softwares na pwede natin magamit in solving a two-dimensional conduction. So for today, our objective will be, first is to review alternative approach to determining temperatures and heat rates in a two-dimensional steady-state conduction. To consider some of the mathematical issues associated with obtaining an exact solution, to show how, with the aid of a computer, numerical finite difference or finite element methods may be used to accurately predict temperatures and heat rates within the medium and at its boundaries. Okay. So, yan yung ating goal for today. So, in a two-dimensional, so as I've said, we have two directions, the X and the Y. So, wala tayong Z direction. By the way, ito nakikita nyo sa screen, ito yung ating diffusion equation na previously dinerive natin. Yan. So, as you can see here, wala tayong Z. So, i-delete natin yung Z direction. Meron tayong heat generation and energy stored. So, ang meron lang tayo is conduction at X and Y direction. So, yung ating magiging equation is a Laplace equation that applies. So, assuming constant thermal conductivity K. So, we have partial squared T over partial X squared plus partial squared T over partial Y squared equals 0. So, ito na yung ating working equation. So then the heat flow in x and y directions may be calculated from the Fourier's equation. So we have Qx equals negative Ka partial derivative of t with respect to x and negative Ka times y, Kay partial derivative of t with respect to y. So yan yung ating using Fourier's equation. Ito yung ating magiging equation ng heat flow. So ito yung ating sketch showing the heat flow in two dimensions. So we have ito yung Qx natin sa x direction siya. So we have negative Ka, yun nga yung partial derivative of t with respect to x. So sabay naman. And negative Ka, partial derivative with respect to y. And to solve for the total heat flow, kunin natin yung resultant, which is Q equals Qx plus Qy. Ito yung resultant natin. So ito yung magiging total heat flow rate. Heat flow natin. Or heat transfer. So Qx plus Qy. Okay. So the heat flow quantities are directed either in the x direction or in the y direction. So the total heat flow at any point in the material is the resultant of Qx and Qy at that point. So thus, the total heat flow vector is directed so that it is perpendicular to the lines of constant temperature in the material as shown on the figure. So if the temperature distribution in the material is known, we may easily establish the heat flow. Okay, any question? So, in solving for the two-dimensional, meron tayong tatlong way. Yung unang way is through analytical. We will solve through equations. Second way is graphical. Itong graphical, medyo mas madali siyang i-solve. However, less accurate yung graphical. Kasi manual mag-graph tayo. And then, yung last one is numerical or finite difference, finite element or boundary element approaches. So, in contrast, those analytical methods which provides exact result at any point, the graphical and numerical methods can provide only approximate result at discrete points. So, although superseded by computer solutions based on numerical procedures, the graphical or flux plotting method may be used to obtain a quick estimate of the temperature distribution. So, its use is restricted to two-dimensional problems involving adiabatic and isothermal boundaries. So, by the way, yung palang ating sketch, no? So, we have, let's say, ito yung ating figure. So, from T1, matatransfer yung heat going to T2 kasi yung T2 ay less than T1. So, yung heat flow, ito yung ating heat flow direction. Ito dyan. So, since we are dealing with X and Y, kuha tayo ng maliit na portion dito. So, ganito siya. Yan. Ganito yung tsura niya. So, we have sa every point, meron tayong X tsaka Y direction. So, we have heat transfer at X direction, heat transfer at Y direction. So, perpendicular siya. May right angle tayo dito. So, again, ito yung X direction, tapos ito naman yung Y direction. Ang tawag natin dito sa lines across the Y direction, parallel sa Y direction, is the isotherms. Isotherms yung tawag natin. Ang tawag naman natin, and ito isotherm. Yan, isotherm yung tawag natin dito. And then yung ating heat flow lines, ang tawag naman natin ay adjuvants. So, itandaan nyo baka isama sa exam itong isotherms tsaka adjuvants. So, yan yung ating two-dimensional conduction. So, medyo complicated yung analytical method. Dito, gagamit tayo ng separation of variables. So, we have here, ito na yung ating figure. We have ito yung width or height or X and Y. So, this is the isotherms and heat flow lines in a rectangular plate. Yung isotherms. And then ito yung adjuvants or heat flow lines. Yan. So may right angle tayo dito.
So let's try.
So where T equals XY. So where X equals X of X and Y equals Y of Y. So as you can see, symmetric to. Symmetrical siya. So yung T dito equals T1. So same sa kabila. Yung value. So asymmetrical yung T here. So first, we will consider the boundary conditions with the sine wave temperature distribution. So we have T equals T1 at Y equals 0. As you can see here, equals T1 at Y equals 0. Okay. And ito yung Y equals 0. So ang temperature natin dyan ay T1. So T equals T1 at X equals 0. As you can see here. So dito X equals 0. So ang temperature natin ay T1. And then at X equals W, T is T1 as well. You can see here. X equals W, so T equals T1. At Y equals H, so dito tayo nagkakaroon ng equation. So we have at Y equals H. Y equals H. Ito yung H. So ito yung ating T equals F of X. So ang equation natin dito is T equals Tn sine pi x over W plus T1 at Y equals X. So ito yung ating sine wave temperature distribution. equation. Okay? Where Tm is the amplitude of the sine function. So substituting equation 3-4 and 3-1, yung ating equation 3-4, plus substitute natin sa equation 3-1. So we will get ito. So we have 1 over x d squared x over dx squared equals 1 over y d squared y over dy squared. So medyo complicated siya yung ating equation. Kasi dito gagamit tayo ng separation of variables. Ayan. So complicated siya, no? So pero meron tayong shorter way para ma-solve yung two-dimensional problems. Yun is by using yan, ito yung hanggang dito pa yung kanyang derivation ng equation 3-20 pa. So medyo ano siya, complicated. So later ituturo ko yung mas simple way ng pag-solve ng analytical method using different figures. So meron na yan, ito yung sasabi ko yung using conduction shape factor for dimension 3. So dito meron tayong, for example, may figure tayo, case to case basis siya, case 1 hanggang case 15. So let's say yan, hanggang case 15. So pipiliin nyo lang kung alin yung applicable dito sa from case 1 hanggang case 15, and then you can use this in solving the rate of heat transfer. So yung table 1 hanggang table 15 ay you don't have to memorize it kasi nasa table naman siya na yung sa module nyo. So dadalhin nyo naman yung sa during exam for your convenience. Pero dapat alam nyo kung saan case kayo kung saan case yung applicable. So we have 15 case here. So before that, punta muna tayo sa another way, which is the graphical method. So yung graphical, hindi siya ganun ka-accurate compared sa analytical, pero yung graphical, mas madali siyang method. So sa analytical kasi medyo complicated pa yung mga equations. But here's the graphical. So wala tayong shadow equation. So we'll just use the Fourier's law. For example, in this figure, this is a sketch showing element used for curvilinear square analysis of two-dimensional heat flow. So consider the two-dimension system shown in figure 3-3. So the inside surface is maintained at some temperature T1 and the outer surface is maintained at T2. Inside surface ay T1, outside surface ay T2. Baliktad pala, yung inside surface pala yung T1, tapos outside surface yung T2. So we want to calculate the heat transfer. So isotherms and heat flow lanes have been sketched to aid in this calculation. So meron na tayong isotherms. So ito yun. Yan yung isotherm natin, yung mga lines na yan. So isang quadrant lang muna i-consider natin. And then meron tayong heat flow lanes. And heat flow lanes.
good. So substituting this one, so we have our integral UV. So again, you know the possible over right and dx. So dx minus 0 over. Let's go. Kaya ang nangyari, in-integrate natin yung source yun. Integral naman which is used to over. So then, sinubstitute na lang natin yung value ng which is x over a. So, ayun na dito, we have x1
Okay, so kuha tayo ng maliit na portion. So we have here, ito yung rate ng, ito yung heat transfer natin, yung Q.
expand lang natin or tanggalin natin yung over 2 by multiplying both sides. Okay,
Yan, so we have delta y, tsaka delta x. Ito yung delta t natin. So we have here Q equals K delta x times delta t times delta y. Delta x times 1. So Fourier's law yung gagamitin natin. So isotherms and heat flow lanes have been sketched to aid in this calculation. The isotherms and heat flow lanes form groupings of curvilinear figures like that shown in figures 3-3b. So the heat flow across this curvilinear section is given by the Fourier's law, assuming unit depth of materials. So yung assume natin na unit depth ay 1. So we have ang area natin dyan ay delta x times yung depth na 1. So kaya meron tayong KA area delta T or delta 1. So yan yung equation natin, no? So the heat flow will be the same through each section within this heat flow lane, and total heat flow will be the sum of the heat flows through all the lanes. So if the sketch is drawn so that delta x equals delta y, the heat flow is proportional to delta t across the element. And since heat flow is constant, delta T across each element must be the same within the same heat flow lanes. So thus, the delta T across an element is given by K. So ito yung formula natin ng pagkuha ng delta T. So delta T, ito yung delta T natin, equals delta T overall over N. Yung N is number of temperature increments between inner and outer surfaces.
let's try this one. Sample number 2.
So N, number of increments. So paano malalaman yung number of increments? So tayo yung since i-graph natin siya, tayo yung magbibilang ng number of increments.
But since yung operation natin dito is a positive or plus sign, so possible yung makalipas natin dito
yung delta T overall over N. So N yung number of increments. So para makuha yung Q, ito yung formula natin. So we have Q equals M over N. Ang M ay number of heat flows. Ang N ay number of increments. Multiplied by K times delta T overall. So it are equal to M over N times K. T2 minus T1. Again, M is number of heat flows. So ito na yung total heat transfer natin, M over N K delta T. So to calculate the heat transfer, we need only to construct these curvilinear square plots and count the number of temperature increments and heat flow lane. So care must be taken to construct the plot so that delta x equals delta y and the lines are perpendicular. So dapat yung delta x natin ay equals sa delta y. Tapos dapat perpendicular yung lines natin para makakuha tayo ng accurate result. Okay? Yan. Wala tayong example ng graphical. Hanap tayo ng example ng graphical.
And then later is inalagis ko lang voice code. Para literally is for UX na.
By the way, sa problem set nyo pala, mayroon akong nilagay na mga problems for two-dimensional. I think some ay nandito, some module natin. Ayan. So, ganyan yung graphical. May question kayo sa graphical. Hanap tayo dito ng example sa graphical. So, ang gagawin natin sa graphical, so, kunyari meron kayo figure, better divide nyo muna siya sa, halimbawa, ganito yung figure nyo, square. Divide nyo lang muna siya sa quadrant. Tapos sa quadrant na yun, doon kayo magkaroon ng divisions. So, in case meron given na number ng heat flow lanes, I mean, pwede kayo yung maghati. Dapat equally divided, no, yung ating heat flow lanes tsaka yung ating isotherms. So, dapat perpendicular siya. So, ito yung formula natin na gagamitin. Delta T overall, I mean, M over N equals multiplied by K times T2 minus T. So, yung M at saka N, kayo yung mag-divide. Kayo yung mag-divide ng ating surface. Tapos yung T at saka delta T given. So, makuha nyo na yung value ng heat transfer. So, although it is very inaccurate way of solving the heat transfer. So, care must be taken to construct the plot so that delta x equals delta y and the lines are perpendicular.
So here it is our
Another way is for solving the heat transfer is through conduction shape factor and dimensionless conduction heat. So in general, finding analytical solutions to a three-dimensional equation is really time-consuming and in many cases not possible. So therefore, a given approach is only often taken. So for example, in many instances, two or three-dimensional conduction may be rapidly solved by utilizing existing solutions to the heat diffusion equation. So these solutions are reported in terms of shape factor for S for a steady state dimensionless conduction. So we have Q equals SK delta T. So yung S natin, yun yung shape factor. Ito yung multiply natin sa K delta T. So yung value ng S ay nakasama ay sa table. So, ang delta T pala natin is the temperature difference between boundaries. So it also follows that a two-dimensional conduction resistance may be expressed as R na conduction for two-dimensional. So yan yung ating Ang formula is 1 over SK. Kung ang pinapahanap ay thermal resistance. So, ito yung formula natin. 1 over SK. Yung S, again, based siya dito sa table. So, ito na yung table. Yan, conduction shape factor siya tawag natin dun sa S. So, conduction shape factors in dimensionless conduction heat rates for selected systems. So, ito yung formula. U equals SK delta T. Ito yung formula. So, unang case ay isothermal sphere buried in semi-infinite region. Okay, ito yung case 1. So, we're in. Meron daw tayo isothermal sphere. So, sphere nakalubog sa semi-infinite medium. Yung semi-infinite medium is either fluid or pwede solid. So, basta naka-buried yung sphere dito. Sa semi-infinite medium. So, if ganito yung ating figure, so, while in Z should be greater than D over 2. Meron naman mga nomenclatures dito. So, kapag Z daw is greater than D over 2, ang gagamitin natin shape factor ay 2 pi D over 1 minus D over 4Z. So, again, hindi nyo naman kailangan memorize kasi nga, for your convenience, isinama ko na siya sa module. By the way, lahat ba kayo ay may copy na? Yung hindi naka-attend ng quiz, nakakuha na kayo ng copy. Meron pa kasi sa akin sobra. May 10 pang sobra. Dun sa 3 section. Lahat meron na. Lahat ng nag-avail ay nakakuha.
Pero kung halimbawa nila na mag-ang sa kanilang answer na ganito, which is nakikita ng KYC, XY2,
so sa case 2,
so wala naman yung problem.
So we have horizontal isothermal cylinder of length L. Yung length natin L. Okay, naka-buried din siya sa semi-infinite medium. So ang pinakaiba nitong dalawa, itong isa is sphere, ito naman ay cylinder. So ang ating equation, so if L is greater than T, so we have 2 pi L, kung sin h to the negative 1 times dj over d. So if z is greater than 3d over 2, may case na ganito. So ito yung gagamitin nyo, 2 pi L over ln of 4z over d. So, pero kung yung z naman is less than 3d over 2, so dito lang kayo sa unang equation. Ito yung shape factor na gagamitin nyo. So yung shape factor, yun yung multiplier natin dito sa heat transfer equation. Okay. So case 3 is vertical cylinder in semi-infinite medium. So, where L is greater than D. So ito yung ating magiging equation. So we have 2 pi L over ln of 4L over D. Okay. Case 4 is conduction between two cylinders. Ganito yung tsura niya. Dalawang cylinders of length L in infinite medium. So, if L is greater than D1, D2, so, or if L is also greater than W, so ito yung equation. Okay. Sa case 5 ay horizontal cylinder of length L midway between parallel lanes of equal infinity. Kapag nasa gitna siya kapag parallel lanes siya, so yung Z ay equal. So ito yung gagamitin niya equation. So ang restriction natin, if Z is greater than D over 2 at saka L over Z, L is greater than Z. So we have this restriction, and then yung shape factor is 2 pi L over ln of 8Z over pi D. May question ba so far sa mga shape factor? Sa case 6 is circular cylinder of length L centered in a square of solid equal length. And so pag ganitong case, wherein W is greater than D and L is greater than W, so we have 2 pi L over ln multiplied by the quantity 1.08 W over D. Ito yung shape factor natin. Case 7 ay eccentric circular cylinder of length L in a cylinder of equal length. Yan. So, yan. Kapag wala sa bawat dalawang cylinder, pag wala sa center or eccentric, ito yung equation natin. 2 pi L over cosine h to the negative 1 d squared plus d squared minus 4z squared over 2d times 2. So, marami pa siya. Hanggang 15 tayo. Case 15. So, case 8 is conduction through the edge of adjoining wall. Yan. So, if we're in D is greater than 5L, so we have 0.54T. Okay. Case 9. Ang pinagkaiba niya dito sa case 8 ay sa corner ito. Corner ng 3 walls. Ito isa ay edge. Ito corner lang. So, yung ating shape factor ay 0.15L. So, yung L, nakita naman dito sa figure na siya ay length of width of the wall. Case 10 ay disk of diameter D and temperature T1. Ang semi-infinite medium of thermal conductivity K and temperature T2. So, wala tayong restriction dito. 2D lang ito yung pinakamadaling dito. Pinakamadaling shape factor. Okay, so next is case number 10. Case 11. Square channel of length L. So, square channel of length L. So, usually sa mga beam ginagamit ito. So, if W over W na small is less than 1.4, so ito yung ating equation. 2 pi L over 0.785 ln of W over W. If greater naman siya sa 1.4, so ito naman siya. 2 pi L over 0.930 ln of W over W minus 0.05. And then, ito na yung case 12. So isothermal sphere of diameter d and temperature T1 in an infinite medium of temperature T2. So ito, shape factor niya is 1. So we have active area 5d squared. Yan. So ito sa from table dito sa case 12 hanggang case 15, ito yung magiging equation natin ng heat rates. Yan. May QS is KA delta T. So, kanina, wala tayong area na minumultiply. Ngayon, meron na sa table sa B, dimensionless conduction heat rate. So, may area na tayo. Yung area, ito yung value. So, from case 12 hanggang case 15. Okay, so check nyo na lang kung saan siya pasok na case. Okay. So, shape factors have been obtained analytically for numbers 2 and 3-dimensional systems. So, and our results are summarized in the tables that I have shown you. So for some common port configurations, results are also available for other configurations. So in cases 1 through 8 and 11, two-dimensional conduction is presumed to occur between the boundaries that are maintained at uniform temperatures. Okay, so yun, kayo yung mag-decide. So, given na yung mga tables, kayo na lang yung mamimili. Dapat tama yung mapipili nyo case kung alin dito. So, for you to be able to be familiar with the table, so let us have some example. Example 1, a metallic electrical wire of diameter D equals 5 mm is to be coated with insulations of thermal conductivity K equals 0.35 watt per meter Kelvin. So it is expected that for the typical installation, the coated wire will be exposed to conditions for which total coefficient associated with convection and radiation is H equals 15 watt per square meter Kelvin. So to minimize the temperature rise of the wire due to ohmic heating, the insulation thickness is specified so that critical insulation radius is achieved. So during the wire coating process, however, the insulation thickness sometimes varies around the periphery of the wire, resulting in eccentricity of the wire relative to the coating. So determine the change in thermal resistance of the insulation due to an eccentricity that is 50% of the critical insulation thickness. So, sa tingin nyo, anong case yung applicable dito sa example 1? Aling case siya? So, meron daw tayong metallic wire na merong given diameter. Pero in reality, wala siya, kumbaga hindi perfect yung paglalagay ng insulation sa coated wire. So, ibig sabihin, ano tayo dito? Alin case ba yung? So, dito siya papatak sa case 7. So, we have, ito yung ating wire. Then, yung insulation sa kanya is hindi maganda yung pagkakalagay. So, naging eccentric siya. Based dito sa problem. Sabi kasi dito, so during the wire coating process, However, the insulation thickness sometimes varies around the periphery of the wire, resulting in eccentricity of the wire relative to the coating. So, pinapahanap ay change in thermal resistance of the insulation due to eccentricity that is 50% of the critical insulation thickness. Yan, so yun, nabanggit na eccentric siya. So, case number 7 tayo. So, ito yung formula na gagamitin natin. 2 pi L over cosine h to the negative 1 d squared plus d squared minus 4j squared over 2 times d. Okay. So, known yung wire diameter, convective conditions, and insulation thermal conductivity. So, pinapahanap sa atin is thermal resistance of the wire resulting, thermal resistance of wire coating associated with peripheral variations in coating thickness. So, originally, ito yung concentric wire. Ito yung perfect yung pagkakalagay ng insulation. Tapos, in reality, ito yung eccentric wire. So, kung makikita nyo, meron tayong critical radius, which is TCR over 2. Ang thickness natin is halos mga lahati dito. Kalahati nito dito sa part na to. Tapos ito naman doble. So, hindi siya even distributed. So, yung insulation ay hindi masyadong maganda dito sa top and then sa bottom masyadong mapapal. So, yun. Kasi nga wala sa gitna. So, ito yung reality. Hindi naman talaga siya malalagay ng perfect. So, meron diyang fluid na nagpo-flow outside. So, assumption is a steady state condition, two-dimensional conduction. Constant properties, both exterior and interior surfaces of the coatings are uniform temperatures. Okay. So, for analysis, so the critical insulation radius is ito yung formula natin ng critical insulation radius. We have ratio siya ng thermal conductivity versus the convection coefficient. So, given to, yung 0.35 watt per meter Kelvin over 15 watt per meter squared Kelvin. So, yung kanyang critical insulation radius is 23 mm. So, nakuha na natin yung critical insulation radius which is 23 mm. Yung radius na to, 23 mm. So therefore, the critical insulation thickness is TCR minus D over 2 equals 0.023 minus 5 mm over 2. So, bakit siya sinubtract? Bakit sinubtract yung 5 mm? Ay, dito. So, yung 5 mm, yun yung thickness ng insulation. Tama? Ito pala. Yung electric wire pala, diameter niya is 5 mm. 5 mm yung diameter ng electric wire. So,
using our formula,
balik tayo sa figure. So, 5 mm. So, ito. Diameter 5 mm.
so here we have 1 minus mx over.
So, ang radius niya is 5 mm over 2. So, yan.
2y minus 2x minus 2y over our
Therefore,
that is x.
pero yung critical radius ng insulation ay 23 mm.
Forward.
So, subtract natin yung 5 mm over 2 dun sa 23 mm na radius para makuha natin yung thickness, which is 21 mm. Ni-round up lang to. Kasi 23 minus 2.5 is 20.5. So, 21 mm. So, 21 mm to yung thickness. TCR. May question kung paano nakuha yung 21 mm? Nagets ba? So, meron daw kayong critical radius kanina, yung radius nito, na 23 mm. So, bawas nyo lang yung radius ng wire na 5 mm, na 2.5 mm. So, magiging 21 mm yung thickness mo, yung matitira, 21 mm. Yan. So, and then, thermal resistance of coating associated with concentric wire may be evaluated using equation below. Ito yung gagamitin natin na thermal resistance of the coating wire. Ito yung formula natin. Thermal resistance na conduction. So, bakit natin ginamit yung thermal resistance? Ba't natin kinumpute? Kasi kailangan natin makuha yung thermal resistance ng concentric. So, pag concentric, ito yun. Kukompare natin siya sa thermal resistance ng eccentric, which is, may makukuha din tayo. Ito yung value ng thermal resistance ng eccentric. 1 over SK. So, i-compare natin siya dito sa 1 over SK. Kasi ang hinahanap sa problem is determine the change in thermal resistance of the insulation due to eccentricity that is 50% of critical insulation thickness. Thermal resistance yung pinapahanap. So, kailangan makuha natin yung thermal resistance ng perfectly na pagkakalagay ng insulation versus dun sa hindi masyadong center. Okay. Yan, ito yung formula na tinuro ko before sa thermal resistance ng cylinder, which is ln of R2 over R1 over 2 pi K. So, substitute natin ln of R. Ang radius natin is 23 mm over yung D over 2 natin or yung R natin is yung sa wire, which is 5 mm over 2 over 2 pi times yung value ng K na given sa problem. So, we have 1.0 meter Kelvin per watt. Ito yung concentric. So, compute naman natin yung eccentric. So, for the eccentric wire, the thermal resistance of the insulation may be evaluated using K7. So, where the eccentricity equals Z equals 0.5 ang eccentricity daw natin ay 0.5 times critical radius equals 0.5 times 21, which is 10 mm. Yung eccentricity nila. Meaning, wala siya sa gitna. Itong Z natin is, ito yung eccentricity, which is 10 mm. May question kung paano nakuha yung 10 mm?
So, kung base negative po natin, pwede natin x raised to so, we can consider raised to we have x raised to so, nakuha na natin yung integrity. So, that's the whole so, to do some application,
Kasali ba kayo sa sa seminar? Hindi naman minessage ko sa message. So, going back. So, yun. Makukuha nyo na yung RT na conduction kapag eccentric. Which is, gamitin nyo lang yung formula kanina na nasa table. We have cosine h to the negative 1, d squared plus d squared na maliit minus 4j squared over 2 times d over 2 pi k. So we have 0.91 meter Kelvin per watt. So therefore, the reduction in thermal resistance of the insulation is 0.10 meter Kelvin per watt. So kanina, ang value ng concentric ay 1.0 meter Kelvin per watt. So ngayon, yung nung naging eccentric na siya, 0.91 na lang. Ibig sabihin, nabawasan yung thermal resistance kasi mas manipis dito sa part na to. Ibig sabihin, bababa yung thermal resistance dito. Nabawasan siya ng 10%. So kaya importante na sa paglalagay ng mga insulation, dapat concentric siya as much as possible para maiwasan natin yung heat loss sa surroundings. Do you have any question? Nagets ba? So, pwede nyo lagay sa comments, so reduction in local insulation thickness leads to smaller local thermal resistance of the insulation. So, conversely, location associated with thicker coatings have increased local thermal resistances. So, these effects offset each other but not exactly. So, the maximum resistance is associated with concentric wire case. For this application, eccentricity of the wire relative to the coating provides enhanced thermal performance relative to the concentric wire case. Okay. Yeah, so yun. Gamit lang kayo ng table sa pag-compute. Another example is the buried pipe. Yeah, so a horizontal pipe 15 cm in diameter and 4 meter long is buried in the earth at a depth of 20 centimeters. So the pipe wall temperature is 75 degrees Celsius and the earth's surface temperature is 5 degrees Celsius. Assuming that the thermal conductivity of the earth is 0.8 watt per meter degree Celsius, calculate heat loss by the pipe. Okay, so we may calculate the shape factor for this situation using equation in table 3-1. So, alin yung ginamit na case dito sa pipe buried in solid? So, ito yun. Parang case 1, no? Ay, hindi. Sphere pala yung case 1. So, case 2. Case 2 siya. Horizontal isothermal cylinder of length and buried in semi-infinite medium. So, case 2. Check natin kung case 2 yung ginamit. Tama. Ang formula ng shape factor is 2 pi L cosine to the negative 1 cosine h to the negative 1 dr g over dr. Parehas ba ito? Okay, so ito nga yung ginamit. 2 pi L cosine h to the negative 1 d over 2z over d. Okay, so case 2. Okay, so ibig sabihin yung L niya is greater than D. Substitute nyo lang yung numerical values sa equation. So 2 pi, ang 4i length, 2 pi L which is 4, over cosine is to negative 1, D. D is yung depth nung kung gaano siya kalalim na nakabaon. Check natin sa figure. So dito, Z naman. Although magkaiba kasing reference book, pero Z yung letter na ginamit or nomenclature dito. Pero equivalent lang sila. Z naman dito. So dito ay D, which is 20 over ang R ay radius ng pipe. So we have 15 over 2 is 7.5. So equivalent siya sa 15.35 meters. So the heat flow is calculated from K delta T, Ks delta T. So we have 0.8. Ang S na value ay 15.35. And then, ang unit pala niya is meter. So distance. So, and then delta T is 75 minus 5. So we have 859.6 watts or 2933 BTU per hour. So, nag-gets po yung buried pipe. May question kayo dito sa case number 2. Okay, so ang next case ay cubicle furnace. So cubicle furnace. So we have pag walls, meron tayong iba-ibang case dito. No? So we have walls, edges, tsaka corners. So ang problem is, a cubicle furnace 50 by 50 by 50 centimeter on the side is constructed of a clay brick with given thermal conductivity with a wall thickness of 10 cm. So the inside of the surface is maintained at 500 degrees Celsius and the outside is maintained at 50 degrees. Calculate the heat through the walls, heat loss through the walls. So, yeah, if we will recall, ito yung mga shape factor dito. So, we have para siyang cube na, ito siya. So we have case 8 at saka case 9 yung gagamitin natin. So case 8 ay kapag through the edge of adjoining walls. Case 9 naman ay kapag corner.
Medyo mahaba lang.
Yeah.
Kasi,
So
kung ano yung integrate factor,
ito 0.54D kapag edges, kapag corner 0.15L. So, okay, yung isa S equals A over L. Ito yung para sa wall. So,
dito tayo sa natin brush. So dito guys, ilagyan natin
E over L yung sa wall.
Natitingnan natin siya yung factor service equation is exact na. Mas try lang natin yung shortcut. So yung shortcut is integrate na natin ito. Paano natin siya integrate?
Okay, sa ibang reference, meron siyang para sa wall na A over L. So, dito sa isang table, hindi siya. Pero anyway, so yun. E over L lang naman yung formula sa walls. And then edges. Add nyo na lang tong E over L para sa walls. So, which is area 0.5 times by 0.5 over length na 10 cm or wall thickness. So we have 2.5 meters. So yun yung multiplier natin. So for the edges, we have 0.54 times D, 0.54 times 0.5, which is 0.27 meter. For the corners, we have 0.15L equals 0.15 times 0.1 or 10 cm thickness. So we have 0.015 meters. So there are 6 wall sections, 12 edges, and 8 corners. So that the total shape factor is, so 6 na wall, 6 na 2.5, plus 12 na 0.27, plus 8 na 0.15. So we have 18.36. So itong 18.36, ito yung gagamitin ninyo na total S. So the heat flow is calculated as Q equals Ks delta T. So we have K 1.04 plus S na 18.36 plus delta T na 500 minus 50. So we have 8.592 kilowatt. Okay, question? Walang question? Naintindihan to yung diniscuss natin. So marami pa tayong problems dito. Ayan. Na iba-ibang case. Ayan. So and then, ang next natin na magiging topic is numerical method naman. So we have analytical. Ito analytical to shape factor. So personal analytical. Meron tayong tatlong method. Balikan lang natin analytical, graphical, tsaka numerical. So yung sa analytical, instead na mag-derive tayo ng mga equations, so ginawa natin ay shape factors yung ating consider para mas madali. Sa graphical yun, may more on manual na graphical method. So, yun. Ang magiging exam nyo ba sa midterm is meron kayong isang analytical at saka isang numerical method. Yung numerical, di-discuss natin next meeting. Numerical method of analysis. Okay. So, may mga examples pa tayo dito ng shape factor. So, paki-aral na lang din to. Yeah. We have buried disk. Sa buried disk, galing siya dito sa shape factor na anong case ba to? I think, hindi siya very disk. Parang ito, case 13. Tama ba? Case 13. Ano case yung ginamit dito sa very disk? Or PyR. So anyway, hanapin nyo dito sa case 1 hanggang case 15 kung ano yung applicable na case dun sa mga schematic natin, sa object natin. So, and then, ikukunin nyo yung value ng shape factor na i-multiply nyo dun sa ating para makuha yung heat transfer rate natin. So, yun lang yung pagkuha ng shape factor at saka ng heat transfer rate. So, ito yung ating equation. SK delta T at saka ito naman yung para sa thermal resistance 1 over SK. Okay, so yun lang muna for today. So next week, i-discuss natin is numerical method of analysis or nodal network. Wala na kayong question? Sa problem set, wala kayong question? Wala siyang number 6, so patches na lang yung numbering. So, magiging hanggang 14 problems na lang. Ayan, screenshot ko lang yung attendance natin. So, tayo ay 33. Yung umattend ngayon. 32 lang pala.
So here, using this formula, over n, 2x raised to the power 2x squared minus 4y plus 2x minus 2x. So, answer ko. So, we have 2x squared minus 4 over x squared minus 2y. So, kung napapansin mo, x squared to y, gawin mo dito, mas natin yung dito sa numerical. So, 2x squared minus 2y. So, makakansel mo ito.
Okay, so hanggang dito po sa two-dimensional yung ating midterm. Okay, thank you. So, may question pa kayo? Kita ulit tayo next meeting. Thank you.
So, this is 2dx. So, magiging 2 raised to x yan. Kung mag-play natin, kung ating integrating factor,
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.
dito, so, let us make it